Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
A fight escalates into a shooting in Freeport. One person's in critical condition. An ambulance from central Illinois is serving on the front lines. The important mission it's serving in war-torn Ukraine. And it's a magical day at the Discovery Center Museum. A special event uses fairy tales to teach kids about science. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy. Eric Wilson is off tonight. A Freeport man is in critical condition after a fight turned into a shooting Thursday night. It happened in the area of West Pleasant Street and South Beaver Avenue. Officers were called to the area shortly after 9 p.m. after reports of a large group of people fighting. Police say they found the victim in a car that had crashed into a parked car. He'd been shot multiple times. He was taken to a Rockford hospital. Investigators believe the shooting is gang-related. Anyone with information should contact police. An 8-year-old boy seriously hurt in the Highland Park 4th of July shooting continues his fight for survival. Today, the family of Cooper Roberts shared that his progress has been filled with ups and downs. A scan showed that fluid is gathering in his pelvis. Doctors are meeting to decide the best way to address the issue. Also, an infection has caused his fever to return. But there was some good news. Cooper ate a popsicle for the first time as his esophagus continues to heal. And another first for him, he was able to go outside in a wheelchair. An ambulance from OSF in central Illinois is now on the front lines in Ukraine. It's in the Kharkiv region in the northeastern part of the country. OSF tells us that area is under constant attack from Russian missiles and rockets. The ambulance has been in Ukraine since early April. It was originally used as a cardiac hospital in Kyiv to transport critically ill patients. Also heading to Ukraine is $270 million in security aid from the U.S. government. This brings the running total to more than $8 billion since the war started in February. The latest package includes additional rocket systems and tactical drones. Meanwhile, Ukraine says Russian forces executed another bombing in a city. 300 troops were killed. One of the buildings hit was a school. 3 bodies were pulled from the rubble. Russia claims the school was being used as a military base. However, that claim couldn't be independently verified. Enjoy the weather while you can. Candace rejoins us now in the Weather Center, and we're in for some possible severe weather this weekend.
Yeah, that is possible. We could see kind of our first round of thunderstorms come in through the overnight tonight, and then really kind of watching Saturday afternoon and then Saturday evening. But we've got kind of a lot to talk about between the thunderstorms and the heat building up behind a warm front that'll kind of lift closer to us during the day tomorrow. So storm threat possible later tonight, heavy rainfall, gusty winds. Then those could carry over into tomorrow morning and even linger for some into tomorrow afternoon. Again, that heavy rain and wind threat would be there. And then that severe threat most likely staying a little more to the north of us across southern Wisconsin tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. For us this evening, we are pretty quiet, but there are some showers, as I mentioned at the top of the show, now moving and developing in northeast Iowa. Not really seeing these quickly develop, but we may see an isolated shower, even a thunderstorm or two across parts of northwest Illinois, so maybe west of a line from Monroe down to Freeport, down to Forston, and then down to Sterling, actually probably just north of the Sterling area here over the next couple of hours. But as we start to get more warm air working in across Iowa, the idea for thunderstorms to really start to develop after about 10, 11 o'clock tonight, and then kind of move over the region here as we go through 11, 12, 1 o'clock here early tomorrow morning. These are the ones that can produce some very heavy rainfall and even that gusty wind threat. It's not a widespread threat, but it is there, and it does stay isolated for us. Low end risk for a few strong severe thunderstorms overnight. Then we bring back that threat, Mimi, going into the day and evening tomorrow. I'll have more on that coming up in the full forecast a little later in the newscast.
All right, thanks, Candace. Hopefully the storms don't put a damper on time at the pool. Krueger Pool in Beloit is finally open for the summer. Open swim hours will be from 1 to 6 p.m. Staffing shortages forced Krueger to stay closed. It was still causing some issues as concessions, the diving well, and lap lanes will remain closed. The city's still hiring lifeguards and cashiers to make sure everything can be up and running before summer ends. Expiration dates for driver's licenses, ID cards, and learner's permits have been extended. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White announced they will be valid until December 1st of this year. The previous extension was set to end July 31st. License expiration dates have been pushed back several times since 2020 because of COVID. The extension, however, does not apply to commercial driver's licenses or CDL learner's permits. Hundreds of state line residents get some dental work done for free. It's part of the Illinois State Dental Society's Mission of Mercy at the UW Health Sports Factory. The group picks a different city every other year, and this year it's Rockford's turn. Then it sends a small army of dentists, nurses, and hygienists to provide basic services for free. That includes tooth cleanings, fillings, and extractions.
It's our way of being able to give back to the community and to do something to support those in real need. There just aren't enough safety net programs to help out people with their dental needs. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide some degree of a safety net.
The mission continues tomorrow. You don't need an appointment. Treatment's provided on a first-come, first-served basis. Little princesses and knights build houses for 3 little pigs. It was Fairy Tale Friday at the Discovery Center Museum. Each week, the museum uses a different theme to teach science in a fun and unique way to kids. This week, they knocked down Humpty Dumpty to learn about physics. Kids also made ogre ears and watched a special demonstration on magic potions.
Every good scientist starts out as a kid with a strong imagination, a kid who's curious about something. So if we can just ignite curiosity, no matter what that's about, that starts to lay the foundation or the groundwork for being curious about life in general.
Next week's theme is Winter in July. One of former President Trump's closest allies could be headed to prison. A jury found him guilty of contempt of Congress. The next move Steve Bannon's legal team will take following the verdict. And it's been a week since the National Suicide Lifeline switched to 988. But operators say they're hearing from people who don't need help. That's coming up tonight at 6.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
The verdict is in for the trial of former senior advisor Steve Bannon. He's facing 2 counts of contempt of Congress after ignoring a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more.
After hours of deliberations, the jury in the trial against Steve Bannon reaching a decision, finding him guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress. Bannon, who served as former President Donald Trump's chief strategist before leaving the White House in August of 2017, was on trial for defying a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
We respect the decision. We may have lost a battle here today, but we're not going to lose this war.
Just hours before the verdict, Bannon's legal team giving their closing arguments, telling the jury the government's case should give you pause and that the case against Bannon is a rush to judgment. Throughout the trial, his defense maintained that Bannon didn't comply with the subpoena because he believed negotiations with the committee were ongoing. But the government, in their closing argument, telling jurors that Bannon chose allegiance to Trump over the law, calling 2 witnesses before resting their case, including one senior staffer who said investigators viewed Bannon as a key witness to the insurrection and that they wanted to ask him what he knew, including why he said this on his podcast the day before January 6th.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
Bannon was fired by former President Donald Trump from his job as a White House senior strategist in 2017. Bannon initially claimed he couldn't testify before the committee because of executive privilege, a power only a sitting president can invoke to keep certain information private. But a week before trial, Bannon revealing this letter from former President Donald Trump, claiming to waive executive privilege, permitting Bannon to talk.
And Bannon faces up to 2 years in prison. He'll be sentenced in October. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The January 6th panel says former President Donald Trump chose not to act during the Capitol attack. Hours of footage was laid out Thursday night during the primetime hearing. Among the details, Secret Service agents with Vice President Pence were so concerned for their safety, they asked for messages to be relayed telling their families goodbye.
Donald Trump's conduct on January 6th was a supreme violation of his oath of office and a complete dereliction of his duty to our nation.
Outtakes from a taped address on January 7th also show Trump struggling to admit the election's over. A lot of sunshine heading into the weekend, but storms are on the horizon. Candace times it all out for us, coming up in your First Warn weather forecast next.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, things have been pretty quiet for us here for much of this afternoon. A live look with our SkyTrack camera now down in Rochelle, looking off to the northwest. While we had some cloud cover to start us off with, we have also had plenty of sunshine here, starting to see a little more cloud cover work in from the west. And you may notice some of the clouds starting to have a little more of an agitated kind of look to them, so a little more growth out there as a weak disturbance kind of ripples in from the west across eastern sections here of Iowa. Temperatures for us made it into the mid-80s, not necessarily as muggy as what it was yesterday, so that is a little relief out there. 83 in Rochelle and DeKalb, 85 right now in Rockford, and 83 our temperature currently in Freeport. I mentioned we're staying mostly quiet here locally, but you look off to our west, and there's been a few very isolated showers and a couple of thunderstorms that have tried to bubble up over the last couple of hours over portions of northeast Iowa. So we may see some of this activity kind of work into northwest sections here of Illinois within the next couple of hours, but most of us kind of expected to stay dry. So I did hold on to an isolated shower thunderstorm chance here at least through this evening. Better chance I think may arrive after about 12 o'clock tonight. There's some warm air that begins to move in across central and northern Iowa late tonight on the heels of what we call our low-level jet. So those are stronger winds in the lower level of the atmosphere. It's a nocturnal jet that a lot of times picks up during the late evening and overnight. So the idea here is that these will help form some thunderstorms across central and northern Iowa later this evening, working closer to us between about 11 and 12 o'clock tonight. If we see those form, there is the risk that some of those could actually be on the stronger side. So not only with some heavy rainfall, but also with some gusty winds. So we're going to hang on to that kind of lower end threat for some thunderstorms, some stronger thunderstorms through the early overnight hours. That'll kind of press to the south of us tomorrow morning and may actually slow the initial arrival of that warm front for some going into tomorrow afternoon. Isolated thunderstorms still possible tomorrow afternoon, kind of lining up along an old outflow boundary, so stretching from maybe DeKalb to Rochelle and then up to Monroe tomorrow afternoon, and then watching areas to the northwest. Another thunderstorm complex expected to develop and move from Minnesota into central and southern Iowa, posing a pretty significant wind threat once we get into tomorrow evening, especially north of the state line. Right now, a lot of that activity looks to kind of remain to the north of us, but some development to the south is possible. So that could put far northern Illinois kind of in the line for some gusty winds and then some heavy rainfall as that actual cold front comes in Saturday night and then into Sunday. By Sunday, that front pushes to the south of us. We'll hold on to some showers south of Rockford with a few thunderstorms as well, and then drying out once we get into Sunday night and then into Monday. So this is what it looks like for Saturday. High risk for severe weather, Minnesota, Wisconsin. That does extend into southern Wisconsin, and that would be for a wind threat with that. We do see that kind of creep into northern Illinois right along Highway 72 and then points to the north. That's for any southern development with that wind threat going into tomorrow evening. So we're not completely out of the woods just yet. I do think the highest risk right now for any severe weather tomorrow evening is going to be north of the state line, but something we'll keep an eye on here as we go through the next 24 hours. So down to 69 degrees tonight. Isolated shower out there this evening. We will see some of that work in during the overnight tonight. Temperatures tomorrow, not everyone may make it into the low 90s. There may actually be some places, depending on cloud cover and any morning shower activity tomorrow morning, that may actually stay somewhat on the cooler side of things, but kept our high at 91. There's a heat advisory that goes into effect. Warm front is actually expected to kind of line up from Janesville down to Rockford to Rochelle. So west of that, you could see some high heat build with the heat index up over 100 degrees. So there's a lot to kind of talk about, and both the heat and storms kind of go hand in hand, Mimi, here for tonight and also into tomorrow. 85 for Sunday afternoon, and then we'll cool those numbers, relatively speaking, into the lower 80s by next week.
All right, thanks for that, Candace. Reagan Holgate's in next with sports. The Rockford Rivets lose standout pitcher Kyle Seebach ahead of tonight's game as he signs with the Lake Erie Crushers.
Now sports with Reagan Holgate.
Some breaking news coming in for the Rockford Rivets tonight. Star pitcher Kyle Seabach is moving on. The Rivets tweeted ahead of tonight's game that Seabach has signed with the Lake Erie Crushers. Some of the best performances on the mound this season have come from the Rochelle native. He's given the team a huge boost in an area when they needed it the most. He also pitched for the Rivets back in 2019 with a certain comfort level being close to home, but now he will move on to Ohio to throw a few more. On Sunday, 7 players will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Of the 3 living inductees, David Ortiz, or as many know him, Big Papi, he's the proud owner of 3 World Series rings, a career that ended 4 years ago, but still one that Boston fans will remember for years to come. Jim Cott, a rock-solid pitcher who spent 25 seasons in the league. He was an all-star for the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. And Tony Oliva, the 3-time batting champion who led the AL in hits 5 times. Oliva was the AL's top rookie in 1964 and had an 8-season stretch where he was an all-star and received MVP votes each year. Come this weekend, all 3 will now have their names cemented in Cooperstown. And the wait is over. Second half action starts tonight. The Phillies host the Cubs to open a 3-game series. It's the first meeting of the season for the 2 teams. It will be Justin Steele to start on the hill. The White Sox are back at Guaranteed Rate Field to host the Guardians. Cleveland leads the series 6-3. Both Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez are day-to-day. Lucas Giolito has the start tonight. The Ice Hogs announced today that David Gust has signed a 1-year AHL contract with the club for the upcoming season. The 28-year-old enters his 6th professional season after spending the last 2 with the in-state rival Chicago Wolves. Last season with the Wolves, Gust tallied 36 points in 64 games. He will face his former teammates on October 22nd when the Ice Hogs open their home schedule with the defending Calder Cup champions. That's sports. We'll be right back.
First Warning Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More may become a little more active not only here through the night tonight but also for some during the day tomorrow. Temperatures in the 80s will drop down into the upper 60s for most of us. We've got a few scattered showers out to the west here. May see some of those kind of slide in west of Rockford over the next couple of hours, but a better chance for some thunderstorms overnight tonight. Watching that risk for some severe weather tomorrow afternoon and evening. Low 90s and then low 80s next week.
All right, thanks Candace, and thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.